Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com, and with the 17th pick in the NFL draft, what will the New York Giants do? Now, here's the thing, unless you've been living under a rock, Odell Beckham Jr. is now with the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns gave up the first, the third, and Jabril Peppers in order to get OBJ. And like most people, I actually think this was not a terrible move by the Giants. The reason why I say that is because Saquon Barkley, he's your best offensive player. You just watch Antonio Brown, same caliber of player, get traded to the Raiders for a third and a fifth. You get a first and a third and a starter that you had to replace because you weren't able to or you didn't want to pay Landon Collins 6 years, $84 million. That's a steep price tag. So you get a new strong safety who comes in and replaces him under James Beditchers. I think it's pronounced Beditcher, so if I'm mispronouncing the name, I apologize. He was defensive coordinator with the Cardinals for the last couple of years. He's going to bring a much more aggressive defense to New York. I think it's going to be a really good fit. So I got a feeling Jabril Peppers is going to fit in a lot better for this defense. Here's the deal. If you don't know about Jabril Peppers, at Michigan, he played running back. He played linebacker, he played safety, returned kicks. He didn't really have a position. He was just more of an athlete. So when Cleveland drafted him, they're like, we're going to play at safety, but we're going to kind of move you around using special teams. And he looked a little raw to me. Like they were just trying to find a spot for him. I got a feeling they're going to kind of have a plan for him in play. And I think that was a big part of the reason why I really liked this trade, because I don't think it was the players in the locker room. I think it was the organization that had more of an issue with OBJ. But I kind of don't want to get into that. Bottom line is that you have the 6th pick in the draft. Now, here's the thing. You're trying to rebuild if you're New York Giants, but you still want to stay competitive. That's why you make this trade, okay? So you get 2 number ones. That first number one is going to be for a quarterback. I think it's going to be Haskins. I'm not doing trades in my mock draft, so I got Haskins in New York at 6, but more than likely you're going to have to get him. I think you're going to get him at 3. I think they're going to trade with the Jets. You get those extra picks in the second round, or I'm sorry, you have an extra pick in the third round. And realistically, yeah, maybe you want to parlay both of these picks, and maybe you want to go number 1 and pick Kyler Murray. I'm not really sure, but I think Haskins is going to be the quarterback for New York Giants, and I think they're going to use their first pick on Haskins, whether it's at 6, 3, or 1. And then I think they're going to keep this pick at 17 and choose the best player available to help Beditcher's defense. I think you got the future quarterback and the offense on one side, and then I think you got the defense here at 17, best player available who can help you. Because keep in mind, you also traded Oliver Vernon and a 4th-round pick for Kevin Neitler. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And a 5th-round pick. So you made 2 trades with Cleveland. And I like both of these trades because you're improving the offensive line, which is your number 1 weakness. And with OBJ, you get a starter that you already lost through free agency, plus you get some extra picks. This pick, you need an instant starter for Beditcher's new 3-4 defense. Keep in mind, yes, I'm fully aware teams are going to play mostly nickel, but they need to line up kind of a base formation, which is going to be a little different. So Dan, with the 17th pick, who are the Giants going to take here? Now, I think they're going to use the first one on a quarterback. I like Haskins, and they're probably going to have to trade up, but I just don't think they're going to give up this pick. Several players here that I really like. I think best player available is key because you need talent. Greedy Williams, number 1 corner on the board, still on the board according to my mock draft. I really like him right here. This would be a great fit. He could come in, play. You really can't have enough good corners. Christian Wilkins, a guy I haven't mentioned yet, defensive tackle. I don't know if this is really a great scheme for him, but I bet it sure can get creative. The guy can rush the passer. So I also think this could be a great fit here. Brian Burns, excellent pass rusher. He's available right here. Maybe you want to go Mac Wilson. In the past, you usually don't want to draft middle linebackers this high. And I do have both Bush and White at 10 and 11, but Mac Wilson I think would be later down the road. But could you have him in play right here? Absolutely, it's a possibility. You could get creative. Nasir Adderley, a guy who played safety. Some teams think he can play corner. Get a creative player like that into the mix. All these guys could work. But for me, you need a pass rusher and a new outside linebacker. And you need somebody who's big enough that he could play defensive end in your nickel scheme, outside linebacker in the 3-4. It's rare to find that type of player, but you have a perfect one available. And I think the 17th pick for New York Giants is going to be Montez Sweat. He's going to be outside linebacker in this defense. Now, you have a top 10 player who's available for you here at 17. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. I don't know the medical conditions regarding him, but this isn't like Maurice Hurst, because Maurice Hurst came to the combine. They're like, oh, no, you can't do anything. Then he got medically cleared. Then he got to work out for teams. But he went from being a first-round pick to a fifth-round pick. I think that Sweat, without any medical red flags, is a top 10 pick. But with the medical flags, I think he's going to drop a little bit. Now, keep in mind, he was able to participate at the Combine, of course, because he destroyed the Combine. This came out a couple days later after the Combine, so this leads me to believe it's kind of a non-issue, but I think it's going to have him drop some slots, and he'll be available at 17 for the New York Giants to go ahead and get him, and he's going to be a guy. I don't think this is a plug-and-play type player. I think this is a guy you use on occasion, kind of build him into the roster. You can get very creative. I was very high on Lorenzo Carter last year, their third-round pick, because I would love to see Carter on one side, Sweat on the other, and I think that would be their goal long-term. But this is a guy who can play immediately, but you'll have some time to bridge them through. This guy's a physical freak. 260, runs a 4.42 or 4.41, whatever it was at the draft. He's strong enough they can play against the run. Now, I know there's some issues with him as a pass rusher. Didn't show a lot of bend, wasn't overly flexible, kind of got by on athleticism, which in the SEC, that's very hard to do. No matter how impressive that is, you can't do that on the pro level. So he is going to need to be coached up some. Still kind of a raw player, but at 17, this is a great pick. Now, let's say he's not medically cleared. The Giants don't like the medical thing, and they decide they want to go in a different direction. Keep in mind, if he clears medically and he's available at 17, you're getting great value, and it's for a need. That said, if he's not cleared, I think they go Greedy Williams. I think they take the number one corner off the board, and they say, hey, look, you can't have enough really good corners. This is the best corner available. It's the first one taken at 17. Now, they could also take Wilkins. Clyde Farrell, that's another name they could also take. Brian Burns, another guy they could also use. All these guys are in play, but if Sweat's available, I don't see how the Giants take a swing and a miss on this kid. This kid, top 10 talent, you get him at 17. Only if he clears medically. If he doesn't clear medically, forget about it. Then I think they take Greedy Williams. And the reason why they take Greedy Williams is they got a young corner, but Janoris Jenkins, I think he's 31, 32. His play kind of dropped off. Greedy Williams will replace him, probably be the full-time starter in 2020. So, and by the way, even if Sweat and Williams are available, they could look at Williams. But I really think that you use this pick on the defensive side of the ball, take the best player available. You really can't miss on Sweat. Not a plug-and-play guy. I want to be very clear. He's not your day one starter. He does need to be coached up, but the athleticism's off the charts, and you got a new defensive coordinator. This is why you brought him in, to get athletes, bring a new style of defense, a more aggressive defense. So, by the way, hey, look, if you're a subscriber to Andrew's Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams will come true. But if you're new to my channel, you're just a Giants fan, you're a fan of the NFL draft, or you're a fan of mock drafts, or you just love the cowboy hat, there's this little red button right down here. Check it out. And bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till tomorrow when I break down the 18th pick in the NFL draft. I'll see you tomorrow.